Okay, so this is a full arch preparation with the exception of the terminal molars, two terminal molars for this patient. Um, we're going to show you right now how we slice up the preps. And this is not a reconstruction. This guy had some veneers already, and essentially what we did is replacing the veneers. He has a little bit of a deep bite, so the design's a little unique. And that's the reason you see all the red here. He is going to have thinner area of porcelain there. So let's go ahead and start. So I'm going to tap on each of these preps, and I'm going to check and see that they're marked properly. In this case, what you can see is a clear margin all the way around, so we're not going to adjust that one. Let's go on to the next tooth. In this case, you can see the prep is a little bit, the prep is a little bit off here. It's not showing everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to just make a little circle here through the contact area and connect that little loop there, and it's going to add that part into it. Essentially, it's like a die, and we're just basically telling the lab, hey, look, this is that tooth. And you can see when we do that, that when we select the tooth a second time, it will become a lot clearer. And it will process this each time this is done, and so you can see where the margin is. Let's continue on. So this would be the next tooth. This one actually looks pretty good. You can see the margin over here. I'm not going to mess with that one. Let's continue over here again. Maybe a little bit tight right there. So we're going to select this little tool here, again making a little circle, go right through the margin. Oops. And add that part in. There we go. My finger is not registering. There we go. And then now we can see again, when we rotate that one, we'll verify to see that that tooth was captured properly. And then on the screen here, you can of course see where those slices are. Let's go to this next tooth. That one looks pretty good. You can see all the margins there clearly. Next tooth, again, this one's going to need to be adjusted a little bit. We're going to touch this tool right here, make a little loop going through there, and you have to connect the two together, and then of course there it is. And when you collect that little minus sign there, it'll save that cut, and then you can see these cuts through here. So just verifying again, you can see now that that tooth is there. Let's go on to the next tooth. That's the one. Next one here. This one looks good. You can see the margins clearly. Next tooth, again, clear. Next one, we need to adjust a little bit. Now this can be done post-processing by a line, but I like to do it myself, and it really helps you really look and see where the margins are. That way when the lab does get the case, they know exactly what they're looking at. When you tell them that that's tooth number 12 or number 8 or whatever tooth it is, they'll know. And last but not least, we're going to do a little bit on this one too. So this gives you the ability to, really tell the lab what each preparation is. Okay, so we've got all those in there, and again, you can see all those little slices that I made on the screen here, essentially like doing a die cutting. Okay, so there is the full arch preparation. Now this guy does have a deep bite, and the consequence of that is the original veneers were going really far down. We don't want to make them too short, so he's still going to have a deep bite, unfortunately, unless he were to decide to do some sort of orthodontics. But this vertical relationship here was never compromised, so we're keeping these functional cusps on the upper premolars here. We're keeping them in contact, and you can see that right here. So we're not going to have any issues with any vertical relationship there. You're not going to have any issues there. And on the other side, sort of the same situation. Plenty of room here on all these teeth, the bicuspids and the canine. Now where it's going to get a little bit dicey is in the anterior region. And the reason why is because I didn't really want to reduce these teeth much more in the front. So when we turn the occlusal gram off on, you'll see quite a bit of red on the back of these upper teeth. And there's not a lot you can do about that, besides removing a heck of a lot of tooth structure. But from my perspective, using Emax crowns in this region right here, I really don't think we're going to have a problem. He's going to have at least 1 millimeter of thickness. The guy's going to be wearing a night guard. when he's functioning on these things. He'll have enough thickness of porcelain. And frankly, if you look at it from the side here, in all honesty, I mean, it's just right where the margin meets that opposing tooth, which is a contact spot we want him to have. And as he slides forward, we'll have some canine guidance that will relieve a little bit of space at the incisal edge here. Again, we were able to replicate the vertical relationship because we did not put these terminal molars. So we know that this is the correct bite. So we can safely produce Emax crowns from the digital file and feel confident that those teeth in the back are going to remain in contact. So that's an iTero scan for almost a full arch.